All right, what's going on, everyone? Hunter Doyle here from Inside the Eagles and Philly Insider Podcast. Today we've got Carl Tucker on here today, 2021 NFL Draft Prospect. Congrats on getting here, man. I mean, I always say that to every prospect we talk to. It's just such an accomplishment to get to the point where you're looking to go to the NFL, and it takes a lot of hard work to get here. So props to you for the dedication and just the talent it takes to be at this point. And you originally started at UNC, transferred to Alabama for your last year, and now you're here. So thank you for this opportunity, getting this chance to interview you and just talk to you a little bit, get to know you a little bit more, and just tell everyone how you're doing.
Of course. First, thanks for having me. Doing great. Tuscaloosa just had like a little tornado warning. The weather, the storm wasn't too bad. But all in all, I'm doing well.
Hey, glad to hear that. Hope you're staying safe too. I mean, I know those tornado warnings. I'm up at college in Chicago, so we got a few tornado warnings here and there. It can definitely be a little worrisome. I bet, especially down in the South. So, yeah. But tell us a little about yourself, man. Just who is Carl Tucker, and just your journey to the NFL draft. Everyone's got a different story. So, what's your story, man?
So born in Los Angeles, California. At the age of 6, moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. I went to high school for 2 years at J.M. Robinson in Concord. Just to give people an idea, it's right down the street from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Then I transferred over to Huff. That was a school in Charlotte, just to better my opportunities at getting a scholarship. Committed to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I got 2 degrees, one in sports administration, the other in communications.
Awesome.
Then for my final year, I spent 5 years at Chapel Hill, and then for my last year eligibility, I transferred over to Alabama.
Awesome, man. Great to hear that. So talk to us a little bit about the decision to transfer to Alabama. What do you remember from your time at UNC, and what kind of went into the decision to spend your last year at Bama?
So it was just time for me to go, to do something different. I spent 5 years there, 5 legit years since I graduated early. So I was there for a very long time. Went out the way I wanted to with all the people I started off with. Finished my last year at Chapel Hill with a winning record. It was a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting to go to Alabama at all. I did not think that they would want me at all. Like when I got that call, I'm like, what? Why are they calling me? Kind of deal. But great decision. I had a lot of fun. So I'm very glad I made that decision, and it worked out in the long run.
Right. Yeah, glad to hear that, man. I mean, quite a place to transfer to for sure. I'm sure it was a heck of an experience, and we'll get into that. But first, I want to talk a little bit about your play style as a tight end. So I believe your latest measurement is 6'2", 248. That might have changed. I'm not sure, but I mean, I've watched some of your tape. You can block, or you can run block. You can pass protect. I mean, I know you can split out wide a little bit. You can play in the slot. So tell us a little about your play style in your own words, and what you think you can do on the football field as a tight
end. So what the coaches see me as, and what everybody knows me for, is my physicality. I'm a very physical guy. I come off the ball very fast and very hard. I block hard. But what I feel like coaches don't know about me is that I feel like I'm a great pass receiver as well.
Yeah.
I have good speed on me. I have good hands. Very competitive catcher. And I just feel like I do it all. I can do everything and anything that's asked of me.
I mean, I've seen you line up at the H-back spot too. So, I mean, and that versatility, man, just being able to move around to those different spots, big deal in the NFL today. So that's definitely something that scouts will be looking at. And, you know, it's a big part of the game, like I said. So talk about just what do you think separates you from other tight ends in the draft this year?
Just, you know, what I just said. I feel like even though I'm on the shorter side, I feel like I'm one of the better blocking tight ends in the draft. Even though I am pretty sure I'm going in the draft as a fullback.
Okay.
So I just feel like I'm just one of the more physical tight ends and fullbacks out there. And again, you get more than just a blocker. You get somebody who can, you know, go out and pass the ball every now and then, or catch the ball every now and then. So it's, you know, a two-edged sword.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look at the fullbacks in the league today are really used differently. Some of them you get your typical fullback who's just the lead blocker a lot of time, but you also have the Saints who use Michael Burton a lot of times with Taysom Hill, like in the shotgun and out of QB power and stuff like that, and other guys too. Definitely a variety of ways that can be used today, even though there's not as many as there probably used to be with single wing and all that back in the old times. But I mean, definitely, especially special teams. So I want to talk about I believe you played a good amount of special teams in college. So talk about just the importance of special teams and the value you think you can add on special teams and the positions you can play.
So special teams is very, 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 very important, especially for a person like me. I've been doing special teams since I was a freshman. Same positions really. Was a shield on punt, shield on kickoff return, and I did field goal. I was one of the wings. And that's what I did for the majority of my career in college. Literally did the same thing at Bama as well. So I got some experience on special teams.
Yeah, and hey, that stuff doesn't show up in the box scores, but it wins games. It wins games. I know one of my favorite players on the Eagles is Rudy Ford. He just got, for a special teamer, he just got a big contract with the Jags because he's a great gunner. I mean, he can get downfield and make a tackle, and those wings make a big impact too. I mean, personal protector on punts, making sure the protection is right and calling all that stuff out. It's an important part of the game. I'm glad you said very that many times because I'm a big fan of special teams as well. But let's talk about heading to the NFL level. Are there any tight ends or fullbacks that you really look up to in the NFL or you watch film on or that you just admire watching the game from?
So originally when I was stuck on being a tight end early on in my career, it was Delanie Walker. Because even at this point, you can't really find a lot of tight ends who are my size, my height and build. But Delanie Walker was one of those guys who is this height and size and dominates. He's somebody that does it all. Fullback wise is somebody that I've really grew up with in college for my whole career, Jake Vargas. I've always admired the way that he attacks people and the way he blocks. Just his mind on the game has always been really cool to bite off of. So just seeing him continue that in the league is really cool to see.
100%. So how special would it be to play alongside one of those guys, even if it's just for like a preseason or something, and possibly a regular season too, depending on roster moves and all that. But how cool would it be to play alongside one of those guys and learn under them?
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. I'm thinking about that now. I don't know how I would react to that. That would really be a thing.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a special experience. I believe Walker's retired, I believe, but I mean, definitely would still be if he for some reason came back or if he coached at all, or you just got to, even just for NFL connections, you got to talk to him. I mean,
oh yeah, I'd follow him around everywhere.
Just pick his brain all day. I mean, you got him. But I want to ask you this. We ask all our guys this. What's been your favorite play that you've made in a game so far? All time. It can be all time too. It doesn't have to just be college.
Favorite play I've made all time is definitely when I was at Chapel Hill and we played Virginia Tech. It was my junior year. It was a night game. It was like when it was the last offensive drive. I would think we were up 3. So we were trying to run the clock out. So it was like 3rd and long, 3rd and 16, something ridiculous. And we were on our side of the field. We were like on the 20-yard line.
Right.
And I was in the slot. I was able to run a seam. I got past the back across the safety's face, and I took it all the way down to like the 10 or the 5-yard line. And it was really cool. It was a night game, and it was just so loud. That was the longest catch I've had in college. I think that might have been the longest catch by a tight end in Chapel Hill. Mm-hmm. So that I had a really good game, but like that play was just really fun. It was just fun, like just to do something that you always think about, like, what if the game's on the line? Like, what's going to happen when the ball's in the air and it's it's your turn to make a play, and just to be able to capitalize on that opportunity was really, really fun.
Right, and I bet you gave Virginia Tech fans a little taste, or the team a little taste of their own medicine with the crowd there, that I know they get rowdy over at VT. I don't know if you experienced that at all with the Enter Sandman and man. I mean,
so fun fact about that. We were at the last home game of Frank Beamer, right?
Wow.
Yes, his last home game. And it was to go to the Coastal. And this was my redshirt freshman year, so I didn't play, but I went to the game.
Okay.
I was on the sideline, and that place was so loud. So,
man. Yeah, it's crazy how all that started. I remember seeing the highlight of back when they played Miami, back when I think Al Golden was the coach, and it was like 5 seconds left. Miami needed a Hail Mary, and they played Enter Sandman, and the crowd just went wild. And ever since then, it's just been like now they do it like in the opening of the game, they come out of the tunnel, and it gives you chills. But
they go nuts.
Yeah, great to see it. But talking about going back to Alabama, we talked about Chapel Hill a little bit. Everyone wants to know about the Patriot way with Bill Belichick and how Nick Saban's kind of the same way. I want to ask you kind of your experience being at Alabama last year. Just the valuable experience of learning from that coaching staff, from guys like Saban, Sarkisian, and just all your coaches there, your tight ends coach and all that. What was it like to learn from the offensive coaching staff and just have that year under your belt going into the league this next year?
It definitely helped my mindset in terms of just having a professional mindset. Like, of course you're coming in there to have fun and have a good time, but like at the end of the day, you're in there, you get recruited to win. And so we practice like that. We compete with each other like that. And regardless of anything that's going on the outside, it's the same thing when we get into the facility. That's the thing that I think we did completely different than everybody else is how we handled COVID. There were teams that a lot of schools were canceling. They were canceling like a weekend at a time. And you hear like these schools throughout the season. When the season started, you didn't hear only time you heard it is when Coach Saban had got it. And even then he got it. He got everything done. We still won that game. And like, it's just that everything is just a well-oiled machine in Tuscaloosa. And just the way he gets everybody prepared is crazy. Like, he doesn't take any team for granted. We could be playing, no disrespect, but like Western Carolina or something like that.
Sorry to Western Carolina fans out there, but
right, that was very sorry. But he would coach us and talk to us and talk about them like they're the best team in the country. Like they're like talked about them like they're very capable of beating us, and this is why they can beat us. And like just how he came at the game was just crazy. Just how he kept us motivated and kept us focused week in and week out was something I don't think any coach could do like him, like Belichick and the Belichick.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, that's great to hear. We hear a lot about Saban and just his professional attitude and the way he is just so down to the detail of everything. I bet in the playbook, in the film room. I've even heard just about, the details on the special teams and just stuff like that. It's just so down to the nitty gritty. And that's what you want in a coach. Just not just the X's and O's, but like you said, being able to get you ready for a game like a Western Carolina or Western Michigan or something like that, who, otherwise the team might just think they're just going to roll over them. Right. And that's how teams we're in March Madness right now. That's how teams get upset in March Madness. So it's great going along with the theme of that. But talk to us about what does a week in the life of an Alabama football player, what does that look like for you guys? Or maybe a day in the life?
So for me, it's a little different because I was in grad school and I only had like 3 classes.
Right.
And because of COVID, it was all online. And these were great classes. It was really? Like everything is due at the end of the year. So there's a set date where everything is due. They just give you suggestions on when you should do these things.
Right.
So I had some time to spend. I got everything done, of course, a scheduled time. Just, letting that go. So all that aside, I'd wake up around 8 or 9. I'd get breakfast. Then I would go to rehab for a little bit, just work on my body in the ice bath, hot tub, all that stuff. Then that time it'd be around 11, 12. So for a good hour 15, I'd get some work done. Then depending on what I had to get done, I would take a nap between like 1:30 and 2, take like a 15-20 minute nap. And then from 2 o'clock till 7 is when we would have meetings and practice.
Gotcha. Interesting to get a little bit of an inside scoop on that. And I mean, you guys obviously won the national championship this year, kind of a, tradition at Alabama at this point. What was it like for you to just be a part of that national championship season and just contribute to that? And also, watch guys like DeVonta Smith just absolutely pop off in the national championship game and just play alongside, Najee Harris just being like another Derrick Henry. It was like playing alongside those guys and just being a part of that. How special was that?
So it was really cool to just be able to be on the inside and see, because when they've been on this tear for a long time, and you're just thinking like, well, how the hell do they get these all these athletes?
Yeah.
Why are they always so dominant? Why are they always so good? How come they're like? Because there's always like 5 to 6 plays that it's just random player shows just pure dominance and like athleticism. And it's just, it got to the point where you just shake your head and you think, oh, like these guys are robots.
Right.
But just being there, you're able to see that it's because they work so hard. And everything they do, everything we do is a competition. So you can be like a four-year starter, but you can get your spot taken by a freshman. They don't play favorites. They don't play politics. It's whoever's the best is going to play. And just seeing DeVonta Smith and Najee and just seeing how they grinded and worked every day, you kind of just expect for that stuff to happen on the field because they work so hard.
Right.
Now, sometimes it does get to a point where it's just like, how are they doing this? It's just like, because it's just over and over and over, and they're just so consistent. And it's just to a point, just like, dang, like it just doesn't stop for them. Like it's just in their DNA. So it was just really cool to be on the inside and just see everything just work in motion and just see like why they win all the time, why we win all the time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially just like you said, it just gets to a point, especially specifically with DeVonta this season, because obviously, him and Jamar Chase are considered like two of the top guys this year in the draft. And we watched Jamar Chase win the national championship last year and put up 1,700 yards. It was absurd. And then this year, DeVonta goes out and puts up 1,800 or something like that. And it's just like to see what he did. And pretty big portion of that came in the national championship game too. To just see him do that was unreal.
About that, like, he just won the Heisman. Just won best receiver. Like, you just went off. So, like, Ohio State, great players. They have great coaches. You wouldn't be in the national championship without being those things. So they spent day in and day out in the film room circling number 6. So just the fact this goes for like, this is just how good Coach Sarkisian is too. Just like they're scheming to shut him down, but you still managed to get over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half. So it's just like, what can you do at that point?
Right. Yeah. I mean, and also just Jalen Waddle playing on a broken ankle or whatever it was in that national championship game. Just your guys' run was just so special to watch, and all those guys.
Just different. Those guys are built different.
Yeah. Quite literally, man. But let's move on a little bit. It was great hearing a little bit of inside scoop just on the Alabama life and just some of your teammates there. We just talked about some of your teammates. How special is it to be going into the draft process with all those guys, and even some of your guys back from UNC as well, like De'Ami Brown, Chaz Surratt, and other guys, Daz Newsome, I believe. I believe you played alongside those guys as well. So what's it like just going into the draft with a lot of guys and just sharing this experience with them for the first time?
So it's really cool, especially for my boys at Chapel Hill. It's cool to be with these guys at Alabama, but it's a little different at Chapel Hill because I was with them longer. So I've known those guys for 3 to 4 years. I helped recruit those guys. Like, I took them on their visits.
Yeah.
And so just being able to see them from as soon like the day they come in and just to see where they are now is really,
Right.
really cool. And it's just deserving just to see how hard they work and just see like how much they put in and then just to see it work out for them.
For sure. And I mean, I want to ask you, what's the draft process been like for you specifically as well? Just obviously, this is the first and last time you'll experience it. You only get it once. It's a special experience with Pro Day. And obviously, the combine's a little bit different this year because you're gonna have to do it virtually on your own and all of that. And COVID and all that's different. But what's it been like for you? Has it been, exciting? Has it been kind of challenging? What do the different aspects look like?
It's been exciting. Just the fact that this is something that I've wanted since I was a kid. And just thinking about it day in and day out, and just to think that it's here, like it's here, like it's happening.
Right.
So it's a little surreal that everything is kind of coming. It's going really fast. I thought it'd go slower, but it's actually flying by.
Right. Month away almost.
Yeah, but like I think it's going fast because I'm enjoying the process. Like I'm just having a great time working out and having interviews and just like this whole process has been really fun.
Glad to hear that, man. And I want to go back to play style a little bit, X's and O's. Everyone knows, like you said, with the size just being 6'2", obviously, guys are going to probably say you're undersized and scouts and all that. But football is a game of technique and fundamentals when it comes down to it, right? I mean, guys might have the best size in the world, guys might have the most speed, but I mean, you can, again, like look at DeVonta Smith, your teammate again. Guys are saying he's undersized, but I mean, he went out and did it this year. So, I mean, I just want to ask you, like, what are kind of some of the little things you're working on, like, finding the soft spot in zone when you're going out for a route, just your blocking technique, just the little things that you're working on to try to get better.
So the biggest thing that I have to work on, especially for my size, is I have to work on my hand placement. I will lose the majority of the time if I shoot my hands outside. I feel like, well, I know with my strength, my leg strength, and my power, that if I get my hands on them inside, and if I get there quick, it's over with. I'll definitely have the upper hand. So that's really the biggest thing that I've been working on is my hand placement.
Definitely. And it's good that you're aware of that too. Know that you got to get better. And I mean, that's really, again, that's how you win in the trenches too, especially like we've talked about. Definitely you've had a lot of experience just being a blocker as a tight end as well. And whether in pass protection or run blocking, I mean, a big part of it for sure. And I want to ask you, what's it going to be like? You talked about how surreal it'll be. Just it's just how surreal this draft process has been. How surreal is it going to be when you suit up and go out into the NFL field for the first time?
Say that again. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. I was asking, how surreal is it going to be when you go out and suit up and you're on an NFL field for the first time?
Man, I don't even know.
Yeah,
I can't even put it into words, because like you play. I've played Madden for so long, and back when they had the like the dorm room, you start off in the dorm room,
right?
And then you start off, like the better houses, the better you get at the game or whatever. So like going through all that, and then like actually going through it in real life, maybe not the mansion thing. I don't need a mansion.
Yeah.
But
I remember which Madden you're talking about.
Oh yeah, and just doing it like in real time, like actually doing it, not dreaming about it, not pretending to do it in the game, like actually doing it. I don't know. I can't even. It hasn't. That's a lot. I don't even know.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I mean, it's going to be surreal enough when your name's put on Madden and all that, and you can go play as yourself on Madden. That's just going to be crazy, I bet. But I want to ask you one more question before we wrap up. Just what are NFL teams getting if they decide to draft Carl Tucker or bring you onto their roster this year? And what do you bring to an NFL locker room?
They're be getting a dog. Somebody who can do anything and everything. You can use me at fullback, of course, tight end, and of course special teams, obviously. And they'd be getting a very funny guy in the locker room. I don't really have many problems with anybody. I'm very goofy. I get along with everybody. So a very goofy, funny guy in the locker room.
Yeah, I know there's a guy just like you. Obviously, every draft prospect is different, but there's a guy just like you in last year's draft, Reggie Gilliam, who from Toledo. He was a tight end slash fullback at Toledo last year, and he went into the draft. Now he's with the Bills. Really, I was hoping he was going to win the Super Bowl. I thought it would have been super cool for him, but yeah, I mean, definitely cool to see it. And he plays a lot on special teams too. But Carl, I appreciate your time, man. This was a great time just getting to talk to you, get to know you a little bit more, and just talk about your experiences about the draft and college career. Is there anything you want to say before we let you go here?
Absolutely. I want to say shout out to and Ahmad for helping out with this hotel room that I'm staying in. Shout out my mom and dad. Shout out Aaron, Dylan, Cameron, and Corinne. And shout out my boo, Lil A, August.
Love that. Well, thank you again for joining us, man. Everyone, we're going to sign off. Thank you for listening and watching wherever. We'll have an article up on this on InsideTheEagles.com as well. So make sure you go check that out. And Carl, thanks again. Everyone, run, baby, run. Fly, Eagles, fly. Peace out.